very good evening. Welcome to Prime TV News. I'm Ishara Nautuna. It's time for your headlines. The president says 88% of army-held land in the north released. Gotabaya Rajapaksa issued notices to appear before Presidential Commission on Sri Lankan Airlines. A new lottery introduced in line with Enterprise Sri Lanka and Gamperaliya. Names of the members of the Salary Commission published in Gazette. Palestinians marked Eid-ul-Adha. And now your news in detail. Issuing a congratulatory message for the Hajj festival, President Maithripala Sirisena says that as millions of Muslims around the world come together with the common purpose of religious observance to Mecca in the spirit of unity, the festival of Hajj brings the message of true value of reconciliation as aspired by humanity. The president added that the Hajj pilgrimage embodies the sacred link between the divine and human beings. He wishes all Muslims of Sri Lanka and around the world who engage in the Hajj pilgrimage to Mecca, the holiest city for Muslims, to deliver the message of equality. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe in his message stated that the Hajj festival demonstrates the importance of unity and commitment in guiding the world to achieve long-lasting peace. He called on all Sri Lankans to be united as a nation to ensure a better future for the country. President Maithripala Sirisena said 88% of land blocks belong to civilians and held by the security forces has been released. The president emphasizes that the rest will also be released soon to the people. He was speaking at the opening of the reconstruction process of the Mailiddi fisheries port. The reconstruction process will cost 400 million rupees to the government. The initiative was embarked under the policy manifesto of Maithripalanayak. The president's policy targets to empower entire fisheries communities in the island. The president was presented with a memento by the fishing communities in Mailiddi to appreciate his service to the people. The president also engaged in a cordial discussion with the people gathered at the place. He promised to release land blocks in the area, including the Mailiddi school, within 2 weeks. He opined on a new program to solve the land-related issues of the people who lost their places due to the construction of the Mailiddi fisheries port. All arrangements have been finalized to hold Enterprise Sri Lanka exhibition in Monaragala. The exhibition will be featured on the 29th, 30th and 31st of this month. It is planned to introduce a lottery to mark the Enterprise Sri Lanka and Gamperaliya programs of the government. The new lottery was unveiled under the patronage of Minister of Finance and Mass Media Mangala Samaravira. Chairman of the Development Lottery Board SAP Surya Peruma and some other officials were present at the event. The very first lottery draw will be held on the 27th of this month. Meanwhile, Deputy Minister Lasantha Alagiyawanna made an inspection tour at the stadium that has been selected to hold the Enterprise Sri Lanka exhibition. The exhibition is titled From Patriotic Rebellion to Development Struggle. The exhibition is titled From Patriotic Rebellion to Development Struggle. The event consists of 12 zones, 515 stalls and 204 exhibitors representing public and private sectors. Minister Mangala Samaravira highlighted that the exhibition will run for 3 days. It will be featured with famous music bands and popular vocalists. More than 5 music bands and 20 vocalists will perform. The Deputy Minister presided over a special discussion on activities of the exhibition. A program will be carried out to ensure security of the event as well. Meanwhile, addressing a media briefing, State Minister Eran Wickremaratne said that the Enterprise Sri Lanka program helped to strengthen the country's economy. He highlighted that the initiative will also generate a vast number of employment opportunities to the youth. Notices have been issued to former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa and 3 others to give evidence before the Presidential Commission inquiring on discrepancies taking place at Sri Lankan Airlines, Sri Lankan Catering and Mihin Lanka. Former Defence Secretary Gotabaya Rajapaksa, former parliamentarian Sajin Divasgunawardena, former chairman of Sri Lankan Airlines Nishantha Wickramasinghe and former CEO of Sri Lankan Airlines Kapila Chandrasena have been issued notices to appear before the Presidential Commission. It was revealed at the Presidential Commission that proper procedures had not been followed when appointing dealers of Sri Lankan Airlines to foreign countries. Placing her evidence before the Commission, Secretary of Industrial Affairs of Sri Lankan Airlines Shiromi Kure revealed that former Sri Lankan ambassador to Russia Udayanga Veerathunga has recommended to appoint a company called Sri Lanka Limited as a dealer of Sri Lankan Airlines. It is the first time Sri Lankan Airlines appointed a dealer to Russia. Shiromi Kure explained that no stipulated procedures, including publishing newspaper advertisements and conducting proper interviews, followed by Sri Lankan Airlines when appointing the said dealer. She highlighted that it has violated rules and regulations of the organization. According to Shiromi Kure, former Chief Executive Officer of Sri Lankan Airlines Kapila Chandrasena also approved appointment of Sri Lanka Limited. To appoint such a company as a dealer, it is compulsory to obtain approval from a committee. It was also exposed that Kapila Chandrasena had extended the agreement with the Sri Lanka Limited for 3 years, violating rules and regulations. Names of the members of the Commission to investigate the salary structures in the government sector has been published in Gazette. The Commission is meant to inquire about the salary anomalies of the government servants. The Commission is headed by S. Ranuge. 15 members have been appointed for the body. They are expected to do a comprehensive study about the government sector's salary structures. They will also recommend about recruitments. The Commission is expected to submit their findings in 2 months. President Maithripala Sirisena stresses that priority will be given to improve economy based on agriculture in the journey of nation building.
The President was speaking at a meeting with heads of media organizations and other media representatives. He explained that agriculture is the backbone of country's economy. The media representatives were educated on the national program to renovate 2,400 rural tanks island-wide. The program will commence at the Kumbukulawa tank in Polpitigama day after tomorrow. Responding to questions raised by media personnel, the President stated that a huge renovation is expected in the agricultural sector in the country. He highlighted that the country should be empowered to be self-sufficient nation. Meanwhile, the Vayamba Canal project was recently embarked under the guidance of President Sirisena to provide drinking and irrigation water for the people living in the Vayamba province. The canal is constructed as a part of the whole Moragahakanda and Kaluganga irrigation projects. The canal project will feed water to 353 small-scale tanks and 8 major tanks. Inconsequent to the completion of the project, more than 12,500 hectares of land can be ploughed.
The Cabinet of Ministers has granted approval to amend Forest Conservation Ordinance. The ordinance is amended for the betterment of the future generation and to protect the environment. The proposal was made by President Maithripala Sirisena. The Cabinet has also granted its approval to increase the subsidy given to the rubber planters. Accordingly, the subsidy will be raised to 300,000 rupees from 150,000 rupees per hectare. The proposal submitted by Minister Naveen Dissanayake to increase productivity of the coconut plantation sector was also granted cabinet approval. The government will commence 5,000 export-oriented production villages countrywide. The cabinet granted its approval to the project. The initiative will be implemented in between years of 2018 and 2020. The cabinet approval was given to reconstruct the National Art Gallery. The project will cost 42 million rupees. The second Randoli Perahara of the historical Dalada Maligawa of Kandy will parade tonight.
The first Randoli Perahara of the Asala festival paraded last night. The procession set off from the Sri Dalada Maligawa at the auspicious time of 7 p.m. Nedungamuwe Raja, the auspicious elephant, carried the casket with sacred tooth relics. Famous elephants in the Raja and Kataragama Vasana were also part of the procession. It was featured with a number of dancing troupes and other artists. Our correspondents report that a huge number of local and foreign people were present to witness the event. The final Randoli Perahara is scheduled to parade on the 25th of this month.
Sirisena has given instructions to the officials to provide relief to the owners of the boats that were damaged in Manampitia recently. The fleet of set ablaze by an unknown group recently. Around 25 boats that were used to sand mining in the Mahaveli River were damaged. Under the instructions of President Sirisena, the Geological Survey and Mines Bureau took steps to inquire about the incident. Accordingly, the boat owners will be given new boats for the damaged ones. New insurance policy will also be introduced to the boats. Chairman of the Bureau, Asela Iddavala, states that measures will be taken to introduce placers to berth the boats in a systematic way. Measures have also been taken to provide 50,000 rupee compensation per a boat as an immediate relief. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe emphasizes that the current government will never sell out country's land to foreigners.
The Premier made the comment attending the national program of providing 1 million land deeds to the people. The event was held at the Baddegama public grounds. The Premier promised to solve the land-related issues of the general public expeditiously. He stated that it is government's wish to ensure ownership of a land block to each and every family in the island. Under the Galle district leg, people of Baddegama, Välivitia, Yakkalamulla, Nagoda and Tavalama divisional secretariat areas received land deeds. The Prime Minister also handed over land deeds to the residents of Mapalagama War Heroes village.
8 Indian fishermen along with a trawler engaged in illegal fishing in Sri Lankan territorial waters were apprehended by the Sri Lankan Navy. The apprehension was made by a naval ship attached to the Western Naval Command in the seas 60 nautical miles off Aripu area. Subsequently, the Indian fishers and trawler were brought to the naval base SLNS Vijaya and the apprehended fishermen were examined for a medical test before they were handed over to the Assistant Director of Fisheries Puttalam for onward action. Traders of Manning Market in Colombo have decided to stop selling fruits with glyphosate. It was revealed at a media briefing convened under the theme of extending traders' support to make a toxin-free country. Chairman of the Traders Association of Manning Market, Lal Hettige, said that no trader at the Manning Market is connected with artificially treating fruits with harmful chemicals. Therefore, they have decided to stop selling chemically treated fruits. Parliamentarian Venerable Atruliya Ratnathera was also present at the media briefing.